Hello and welcome back to the Second Chance to Live channel here on YouTube. I'm happy to see that you decided to stop by to watch this video presentation. Thank you. In today's presentation, I'm going to be sharing part 4 of an article that I began several days ago. I would encourage you to watch part 1, part 2, part 3 of this presentation in addition to watching part 1 of the presentation, because part 1, part 2, and part 3 share information that I build upon in part 4. To read the article, I'll put my glasses back on and bring up the article. I want to thank you for your time. You're an important part of my process, and I always enjoy our times together. Here's the article: Second Chance to Live, Lessons from My Journey, Finding Freedom, Part 4. Through my process, I discovered that I needed to examine why I was feeling and reacting to life in a way that created pain in my life. In part 4 of this article, I would like to share what I discovered. What I'm about to share is not to point fingers in anyone's direction, as that does no one any good. My motivation is to share an awareness that empowered me in my process of finding freedom. I wrote an article in May of 2007 that I'd like to share with you. The title is, Whose Shame Are You Carrying? Hi, and welcome back to Second Chance to Live. I'm happy to see that you decided to stop by to visit with me. I want to share something with you that has helped me. My motivation is to provide insights to the parents who read my blog. My motivation is to provide awareness. The beauty of living is that we can make a decision to change our behavior at any time. The process of behavior modification usually begins with an awareness that is followed by acceptance and results in action. Awareness provides the opportunity to address whatever is not in our best interest or the best interest of the people that we love. Acceptance acts like a balm to soften the walls of our resistance and brings us to a place of action. The action that we take provides the momentum that resolves our guilt and shame. When parents do not deal with their shame and guilt, they make their children carry it for them. In many instances, the shame transfer is a learned behavior that is passed from one generation to the next. Through my recovery process, I have learned many valuable lessons. One of the most valuable lessons is that I am not responsible for anyone's shame or guilt. I do not have to carry the burden of another person's unresolved guilt or shame. Each person is given an opportunity to learn and grow from his or her individual experiences. If they choose to avoid or deny the reasons for their irritability, restlessness, and discontent, I do not have to absorb their pain. Debilitating guilt and debilitating shame can only be resolved through rigorous honesty and a commitment to personal accountability. In transactional analysis, which is a counseling theory and modality, there is an expression that sums up such a process. It goes something like this: we will work it in, work it out, or project it onto other people through blame, shame, or scapegoating. As I understand this concept, when a person chooses to work it in, they choose to deny that they have shame and guilt and act as though it does not exist. When a person represses shame and guilt, addictive behavior is frequently used to avoid responsibility. When people choose to work it out, they become involved in a recovery process or program to identify and repair the lessons for their shame and guilt. The last option involves passing the responsibility for his or her shame and guilt onto another person, anyone who is willing to be abused. Transactional analysis sums up the last behavior as passing the hot potato. The last option involves making someone else the reason for why they experience their shame and guilt and or other uncomfortable feelings. Instead of my dealing with my feelings, I make somebody else responsible for them. That's what passing the hot potato is about. In my experience, my dad's inability or unwillingness to accept that I had a disability motivated his behavior. He blamed me for not being able to be more or do more. His criticism of my best efforts made me responsible for his disappointment. My dad could or would not accept that I was doing my very best, given the fact that I was a traumatic brain injury survivor. I also believe that my dad transferred his guilt and shame onto me for his driving the night of the accident that caused the damage to my brain. Because my dad was unable to process his own guilt and shame, he transferred that guilt and shame onto me in a form of blame and criticism. I'm not angry or bitter with my dad. I am glad that I worked through a lot of my hurt and pain and was able to stop carrying my dad's guilt and shame for not being more. I believe that I am more than enough, disability and all. I am not my traumatic brain injury, but my traumatic brain injury changed the course of my life forever. I wish my dad could have accepted that I was doing my very best rather than wanting me to be someone without a disability. I'm sad for both my dad and myself because we could have had a much better relationship for many years before he died. His acceptance of my disability came in the last 3 to 4 years of my dad's life, and he was able to accept that I was doing my very best. He also told me that he was proud of me on many occasions during those years. In conclusion, I would like to encourage the parents that are reading or who are reading this post article to encourage your children. Your children may have an invisible disability that has gone undetected for many years. If you want your children to excel, avoid blaming, shaming, and criticizing them for not being more. They may not be able to reach your expectations. However, they may be doing the best they can. By acknowledging this reality, you will be able to cultivate an empowering relationship with your children that will last a lifetime. Parents by nature want their children to grow up to be professional adults. Having such a hope is not wrong. However, your child may never be able to become a doctor or a lawyer or some other dream that you have for them. Encourage your children, teenagers, and young adults to follow their dreams, not yours. Nurture their strengths, and you will both get what you desire, an empowered individual who is following after their bliss. I want to thank you for being here. You're an important part of my process, and I look forward to hearing from you. Before I go, let me encourage you with this. Please do not give up on yourself, a loving God, or your process, because more will be revealed with and in time. The pieces of the puzzle will come together in the correct order and at the right time. I'll say so long for now. Have a great day, and God bless both you and your family. So long now.